Hello and welcome to Totally Insane Guinness World Records. We've trawled planet Earth for the very best Guinness World Records on TV, so prepare to witness the human race in all its glory. Coming up, a novel way of slicing an apple, the latest facial cleansing fad, and leapfrogging with bibs on. We start with a man who has wet shorts. Fingers crossed it's because he's just been for a dip in the sea. And whilst he's there, I do hope he's applied some factor 50 to that head. His name is Derek Boyer, and he's trying to beat this guy, a Canadian priest with an interesting taste in scarves called Kevin Farce, who currently holds the record for the heaviest truck pull, a record that Australian Derek Boyer used to hold himself. Isn't that right, Derek?
When somebody's at their strongest, that's when they're most alive. And that's simply my reason for doing these extreme feats of strength, to feel alive.
Deep. Derek doesn't just pull trucks and impersonates Pamela Anderson, though. He also likes to come up with his own recipes. A couple of eggs, and another. Yeah, remind me not to buy his cookbook. Anyway, there's the truck, and it's a big one, weighing in at 51,840 kilograms. Just time for a bit of measuring, and to have a fiddle with some nuts.
A safety officer checks Derek's harness is properly secured.
Not you, Derek. We'll be back later to see how he gets on. Next up, we meet a girl who's nearly as big as a whole country. Oh, hang on a second. Now I am confused. Thankfully, she is not the star of the show today, because it's actually all about this girl, Megumi Suzuki. Today, the limelight is all hers. I spoke too soon. She'll be attempting the record for the most skips in 30 seconds, and she's actually skipping so quickly she's in danger of exploding. What did I say? Someone's been busy on Photoshop, haven't they? The record to beat is 160 skips in 30 seconds. This is a big moment for her, and for her alone. Again, I spoke too soon.
Judges ready. Skippers ready. Set. Go.
An incredibly natural countdown there, and it's good to see Megumi really going for it. Now, a lot of people want to know what Megumi thinks about during these intense bouts of skipping to help her concentrate. Sadly, the answer is unbroadcastable. The arena she's skipping in was built specifically for tonight's record attempt. Perhaps a slight miscalculation of the number of seats required, but let me tell you, the place has been transformed for this event. That tiny banner really sets the place off. Just a few seconds left now. And the time is up. And she's done it. Megumi looks incredibly pleased. And the crowd are going wild. Look at her face. It is a new world record with 162 skips. Finally, she gets her moment in the spotlight. A moment that no one can take away from her. Yet again, I've spoken too soon, haven't I? Oh well, at least she gets a certificate. Take your eyes off the man in the background's moustache and onto that rope, because it's very important to this challenge, as Derek, our strongman, will explain. Okay, for anyone watching who doesn't speak muscle man grunt, let me try and translate. If I understand him correctly, he's using the rope to help pull himself and a truck weighing 51,840 kilograms over a distance of 100 feet. And he's also asking whether we think he's made a fashion faux pas by wearing knee-high socks. I think we can all agree he's bang on trend. He is picking up quite the pace now and almost has that truck over the line. If he gets there, we can expect to see the classic truck-pulling celebration of playing dead. There it is. He may not look like he's alive, but how does he feel?
What can I say? I feel alive.
I should have guessed. Well done, Derek. Sending a man to the moon, discovering the Higgs boson particle, gaffer taping someone in a red polo shirt to a wall. These are all amazing feats of human endeavour. Today, we shall witness just one of them, and unfortunately the footage of Neil Armstrong was too expensive. So instead, here's Henrik and Kai, two Germans who have taken full advantage of a 3-for-2 on duct tape at their local stationery shop. This chap here, Kai, will be taped to the wall, a job he's now performing full-time, since work as the frontman of a Hanson tribute band dried up. His friend Henrik, who, as you can tell from his reverse baseball cap, is quite the dude, will be responsible for sticking Kai to that wall in the fastest time possible. The trick is to use just enough tape, but go as fast as you can. A delicate balance. And they're off. Now, you might think this record is a frivolous waste of time with absolutely no practical real-world use, but you could not be further from the truth. It's a little-known fact that the cast of Coronation Street has grown so large in recent years that instead of individual dressing rooms, the actors are all taped to the walls of the Rovers' return during their breaks using this very technique. In case you're interested, Emmerdale opt to pile their cast up in a barn, while on EastEnders they freeze their lesser-used cast members in the back room of the cafe and then thaw them out when they have a major storyline. Dean Gaffney has not been above minus 37 degrees since 2001. Back to the sticking, and it's looking pretty good. Oh, Henrik has stopped the clock. So with Kai taped to the wall, it's almost time to remove the stool and see if he can remain in position for a whole minute. How do you stop a young man from attempting to suck his own toes? One of these bibs will do the trick. Thankfully, Tom Vincent here is wearing one for a different reason.
No, I'm going to try and set the record for the most amount of snails on anyone's face.
I need to know as well, have you started kissing girls yet? Because
An unconventional chat-up line from the presenter there, but sometimes being bold can work.
No, I haven't.
No.
Run, Tom, run! But not before you've attempted the record. Here we go then, 60 seconds to load the snails on. It's a bit like a very elaborate game of Buckaroo.
Drop down to...
Tom first discovered this ability whilst looking for a way to give himself a love bite to impress his friends at school. Sadly, the plan backfired, as it ended up instead looking as if he had severe chickenpox.
He was 3 years...
All of the snails are willing volunteers. They're each getting paid a small appearance fee, which they'll no doubt fritter away. I guess they do save a lot on rent, so who can blame them?
head up.
Right, here we go. They've got to stay on for 10 seconds. Whatever you do, Tom, don't sneeze.
Just see him sweating away a little bit.
If you have jumped ship already.
You're going to stay on. Needs to stay rock steady.
And he's done it! Tom has got a new world record with 7 snails, beating the previous best by 1.
How you done? You've still got a lot of time. How do you feel?
It was okay, but I could have done better, but
You think you could have done
Some people are never satisfied, are they? Back to Germany, and Henrik is about to remove the stool beneath Kai. If the tape holds him in position for a whole minute, then they will be the proud holders of a new world record and several meters of used tape.
Jetzt.
So the clock has begun. There is a very tense atmosphere in the studio. Possibly because no one's remembered to bring any scissors. He could be stuck up there all night. Attached to that wall, Kai looks like a work of art.
Noch 14.
A very bad work of art, but a work of art nonetheless.
Herr Teufel, haben Sie die?
It's funny actually, because Kai's teachers at school always knew he had a potential for this record. One of them even wrote in his end-of-year report that he was going nowhere. They're absolutely right, and they must be extremely proud of him today.
Aus, also quasi noch 30 Sekunden.
At this stage, he is probably regretting having that extra slice of pie for lunch. The tape seems to be stretching. You know what they say? A minute on the lips could cause you to prematurely fall from a temporary wall that you've been stuck to with gaffer tape. Time's up.
3, 2,
Maybe not. Now it is. Brilliant work, and bro hugs all round. Congratulations to Henrik and Kai, because they are now world record holders, thanks to a few feet of tape, a few beers, and a degree course without many lectures to attend. Now, it's a well-known mathematical fact that 2 strangely dressed boys plus ludicrous haircuts equals entertainment. So prepare to meet the Chinese version of Jedward, who are attempting the most leapfrog jumps by a team of 2 in 30 seconds. To show them how not to do it, here are a couple of volunteers hurling themselves around a bit. Anything to get on the telly, eh?
Sometimes you stepped out of the line, and sometimes you used your hand.
Who did? Who?
You.
I do love an amusing overreaction. So it's time to get the professionals in. Keshen and Hoosie are a much slicker operation. They have to keep in the red square, and they need to top 25 jumps in 30 seconds for the record. Controversially, a large-scale report has recently concluded findings that frogs don't actually leap over each other's backs against the clock for their own entertainment, news that's shaken the leapfrogging community to its very core. These 2 seem unaffected, though, a sign of true athletes. The time is up, so it's over to the adjudicator to see how they did.
你们2个人完成了。
And you guys did 25, so you equaled the record. So it is equal to the current record.
So they
做了
got the
20
record.
So it is a
They've clearly not rehearsed what happens in this scenario.
记录我们评论记录两位现在
Come on, guys, give them a certificate. She's livid, and those boys' trousers alone are worth it. There it is, and the audience is delighted. Of course they are. Well done, boys. You should be very proud. Still to come in part 2, this man quenches his thirst, a novel way of beating the traffic, and what appears to be the world's worst line dance. Welcome back, and we're here in the UK for our next record.
Give it up for Randy Oitkar!
Randy is indeed American, and he's a keen archer who's been at it for a while.
Very handsome crossbow you got there. So how long have you been into archery?
I have been into archery since 1996, since I was 8 years old.
No. 8
Yes,
years
way
old.
bazy when Connie had only been on Blue Peter for about 30 years.
Tonight, we're going to be testing Randy's accuracy, but not just with one arrow. That would be way too easy. We like to mix it up here. We're going to use several arrows. We're talking multiple targets hit at the same time.
But first, the rules.
New Guinness World Record. Therefore tonight, Randy, you will have to hit as many balloons as possible with arrows fired simultaneously.
How many do you reckon you can do?
Well, we're going to go for 5, is what we're going to go for. That's what I'm going to try for.
Yes, Randy must burst 5 balloons at the same time with 5 different arrows. Then, like any good hunter, he will eat the spoils.
Marco, pronto.
Here we go then. This is exactly the sort of thing Robin Hood would have done had latex been invented in medieval times. Understandably, the balloons look absolutely terrified. And he's done it! That is definitely worthy of a replay. Randy is a perfect marksman, but an absolutely awful guest at a children's birthday party. They never stood a chance. Good work, Randy. Over to Connie. Connie, you're on.
Do not adjust your TV sets. We did just see that no TV trickery. Truly remarkable. How are you feeling?
I am feeling awesome.
Randy's feeling awesome.
Yeah, we're feeling awesome.
Everyone's feeling awesome, but has he got the record?
Yeah, I can confirm your feeling. 5 balloons, it's a new Guinness World Record. How many people wants to see me shoot 6?
I beg your pardon. Oh, 6 arrows. Yes, I would love to see that. And we'll come back to you in a bit to see if Randy can break that record. Back down under now, and here's a record you could, in theory, try at home, if you hate your own tongue.
Record for the fastest time eating an onion. Raw.
Good face.
Welcome again from Adelaide, Lachlan Heinrich, and from Townsville, Queensland, Eric Lachlan.
So these guys both fancy their chances, but just what is the technique to eating a raw onion? Any ideas, Lachlan?
It's alright, just think it's an apple and eat it.
I often use exactly the same technique when attempting to eat an apple. Teacher Eric has been nominated by his students, presumably as a form of revenge. But what are the rules?
Yes, Chris Sheedy, what are the rules surrounding this record attempt?
I just said that.
The onions need to be 210 grams once they're peeled and topped and tailed. We've weighed them today, they are. Then the guys basically they need to sit at the table, they can drink as much water as they like, and then we time it. They need to show me their mouth once they're finished.
Okay, they need to prove to you at the end that they've swallowed it all.
Exactly.
Raw. What time are they shooting for?
Current world record is 1 minute 32 seconds.
You confident you can knock it off today, gents?
Pretty confident.
Both pretty confident that they can knock it off today. We'll come back in a second to watch them attempt just that. Talking of which, this man is Randy. Remember him from earlier? He's already burst 5 balloons simultaneously, and now he's going for 6.
Marco, pronto.
Good to have a catchphrase, isn't it, Marco? Right then, Randy is readying himself. We're about to see him fire 6 arrows into 6 balloons. If you're watching this in the company of some balloons, you may want to tell them to look away right now. I have a feeling it's going to be carnage. Anytime you like, Randy. Anytime. Whenever you want. It's only a half-hour show, so... Good work! He's only gone and done it. 6 balloons simultaneously hit with 6 arrows. It's the sort of achievement you could only dream of if you've eaten a lot of cheese before bed and are prone to having very strange dreams. Take that, balloons.
Let's make it official. Marco.
This has never been done before, ever. 6 arrows, 6 targets, a new Guinness World Record. Congratulations.
Fist bumps all round, and Randy is once again a Guinness World Record holder. Congratulations.
This is Randy Oika.
If you think that shirt is revolting, wait until you see what these two are about to do.
2, 1, go.
Yes, we're back with Eric in blue and Lachlan in red, who are competing to see who can eat a raw onion in the fastest time. I presume that's Eric's wife recoiling in horror at the thought of having to kiss him later. Eric seems to be rushing through this, whilst Lachlan is taking a slow and steady approach. It's like the fable of the tortoise and the hare, but with raw onions, which in my opinion is the one thing that classic story was always missing. Eric has crammed the majority of the onion into his mouth, and he'll now carefully try and wash it away with some water. I said carefully. It's almost as if the glass is being held by someone else's arm. But he's done it, and he's done it with dignity.
Goodness. He's struggling to hold it in.
Oh, that reminds me actually, I need to change the filter on the water feature in my garden. Even Lachlan appears horrified.
This is a close call.
This has rapidly turned into one of the least erotic wet t-shirt competitions I've ever seen.
Just to watch it, let alone eat it.
Now, when you've eaten it all, the rules dictate that you must put your hands up, open your mouth, and make a noise in a slightly camp manner.
He's presenting himself.
So Lachlan has failed miserably. However, it was a determined effort from Eric, but has it been enough?
That was just an extraordinary display. Did we get the record?
Unfortunately, no. Number 1, it was 2 minutes, 13 seconds. Number 2, there is some onion left on his collar, so I'm afraid I have to disqualify.
Oh dear, bad luck, Eric. I bet there's not a dry eye in the house, huh? Because of the onions. The onions. No? Okay, see yourself. Next up, someone, somewhere, has had to do a pretty big whitewash. Meet this team of martial artists from China, who are absolutely deadly. If you're an apple. Ooh, right in the core. Today, one of these guys is going to attempt the record for the most pine boards broken with a backflip kick in 1 minute. And why not? Actually, don't answer that. Here we go.
3, 2, 1, go!
He's off. The record is set for 20, so he needs to break 1 every 3 seconds. Thankfully, this guy has always had a hatred of pine ever since he got a splinter from a cheap coffee table as a child, and so he spent years of training to finally get his revenge. Let's hope he doesn't get another splinter from this stunt, otherwise all hell will break loose. He gets knocked down, but he gets up again. Who needs ancient Chinese proverbs when you've got Chumbawamba, eh? So, with the time up, let's hear the results.
We asked for 20, and I could count 17 good ones, so it was really, really close, just not enough for the Guinness World Record.
It's a shame, but we'll be back later when someone else gives this record a try. These days, you have to travel a long way around the world to find a man who has an incredibly thin moustache resting on his top lip, and so we find ourselves in Switzerland with Mr. Freddie Knock. And just being around a guy with such mighty whiskers can make you quite self-conscious about your own facial hair, even if you're a lady. But the big question is, what does he look for in a shoe?
I like them when they're really, really comfortable. They have a big heel that's really safe in the back, so it's on. And in the front, it's I always use shoes who I used before already on the street and something. I just walk down with that, and that's what I say. We have to be really careful. I like the gummy; it's good on this one. When I walk down on the wire, actually I stay like this.
I wish I hadn't asked. Anyway, today Freddie is attempting the highest cable car walk. He's starting at 3,303 metres up on a wire that's 50 millimetres thick and angles between 45 and 50 degrees. At these heights, they've hired only the best and most experienced film crew to capture all of the action. There's one of them now. At this stage, if Freddie slips, then he'll potentially fall 1,600 metres, because for some reason known only to himself, he's decided to do this without the use of a safety wire. This is obviously an amazing feat for Freddie, but it must be quite annoying if you're actually trying to use the cable car. This woman must be fuming. Freddie is struggling with the cold a bit, but is able to make it safely to the pylon and back into the cable car to warm up.
It's cold, you know, I was not expecting the fog and everything.
Really? You weren't expecting to be cold? Come on, Freddie. So, he didn't get the longest cable car walk record, but he did get the highest, and he's still got a tash like a Bond villain. So well done you. Now, if you, like me, regret that you haven't seen enough people breaking small, thin pieces of wood in half by doing a backflip kick in your life, then worry no more, because this guy, Luo Quisheng, is next to have a go at this record. Now remember, he's got a minute to break as many pieces of wood in half as possible. And we should take a moment to think about the guy holding the wood for him, who keeps getting accidentally hit in the face. Ouch. Luo is smashing those sheets of flimsy wood to pieces like an outraged acrobat in IKEA. Now at this stage you might be wondering how on earth this skill would be transferable to everyday life. Just exactly what is the point of it? Well, so am I. Answers on a postcard, please. With just a few seconds left, I'm feeling pretty confident about his performance. Touch wood. With feet. Right, time's up, but has Luo done it?
Perfect performance. You did 26. It's a new Guinness World Record.
Good work, Luo. You are a flipping genius. And we end the show with a very pretty lady here, and another very pretty lady here. This group all work as Lady Gaga in venues across the world, making public appearances when the real one can't make it. And tonight they're also going for a record attempt for the longest line of dancing drag queens. Yes, that's a record that actually exists. So here they are, all present and correct, looking like there's been an explosion in a fancy dress shop. Well, if you want the record, ladies, you've got to dance, so off you go. Here they go then, all performing a vigorous, complicated and expertly choreographed routine together. Lily Savage has let herself go in recent years, hasn't she? Hang on now, is that presenter part of the record itself? She had me convinced. So with 65 drag queens all dancing in perfect harmony, they hit the record books. Well done. Now can I please have all of my outfits back?